So it looks like the next room is public exploits, which is a web enumeration, and it gives a good understanding of how to brute force domains, subdomains, DNS, just to make sure that some of those subdomains have an IP address pointing to it. But now we're doing this public exploits module, and it kind of goes into, it builds on top of each other. So once you do your initial enumeration, you're going to have these public facing technological topologies for your clients, and what you're going to be doing is trying to get more information about them, i.e. The services they're running, the versions they're running. From there, you can look to see if the versions they're running, maybe they're not patched, maybe there's an exploit out there for them, and that's kind of what this module kind of goes into. It mentions conducting an Nmap scan, then trying to find specific exploits. So it looks like for this example, they had a server message block exploit for Windows 7 machine, most likely Eternal Blue. Then they go and use search exploit to search for specific vulnerabilities for OpenSSH. Again, these are just kind of chaining different tools and how to actually navigate the cyber kill chain. It's pretty much navigating the cyber kill chain. From here, they kind of mention some exploit databases that one can go through. Exploit DB is pretty good. That comes standard in Kali Linux. From there, going to Metasploit and searching for that Eternal Blue from earlier. And then it looks like they kind of go through the steps of how to actually use it in Metasploit framework. They pick it. You can either choose the exploit by the absolute file path, absolute name of it, or just a number if you have a successful search. So in this instance, they could use either number 4, they could say use 4 here, or that absolute file path. From there, you're going to run options to see what's necessary, what's required, and kind of input that information as needed. Then from there, looks like they're just checking to make sure the target that they are going to be using it on is in fact vulnerable, and that they are exploiting that machine. Cool. So it wants us to identify the services running on the server and then try to find public exploits to exploit them. Cool. So here's the IP and port. Open terminal and scan on it. And we're going to do service version. We're going to get the operating system. And for the port, we're only doing this one port, 42619. And it's good practice. We want to be as quiet as possible when scanning. We don't want to be intrusive. We don't want to make too much noise, unless of course the client requires you to do so. Maybe they want to make sure their intrusion detection system is working. Maybe they want to see where the intrusion detection system will actually start picking up on noise, their personnel, etc. But for the sake of this example, we're only going to be scanning this one port, and it's a good example of how we have clear cut what we're looking for, what we're scanning, kind of like the rules of engagement, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Okay, so it looks like it came back pretty quick. State is open, so it's not filtered, it's not sitting behind a firewall. And here is the Apache web server, version 2.441. Now again, we're trying to find the services running on it. So let's do this. I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to go right to it and see what I can get from the web graphical user interface, if it's even set up. Okay, so it looks like it's still that WordPress, and right on. So it's a WordPress plugin 2.710. So let's do this. Let's go into MSF console, tab to complete. Let's see what the hint says. Plugin exploits. Search for plugin exploits. And we're looking at a plugin for a WordPress plugin on the graphical interface. So we're going to search for this. We're going to search for WordPress and then this version 2.7.10. So Metasploit's open. We're going to do a search. WordPress 2.7.10. So it is in fact a plugin, and it looks like there is a module for it. Now again, you can copy this whole absolute path, or you can just type the number. So I'm going to do the number. There we go. We can see that it was in fact chosen. And I'm going to do options. Let's see what the options are. Okay. So this part right here is super important. We're going to set we want to set the receiving host and the receiving port. Now in this instance, it's 942374868. That is the receiving host. That's the Apache server. And then we're going to set the port. It can't just be any port. It has to be the port which coincides with that service. I need to check the file path to flag.txt. There it is. Run. There. So we did actually have to set this path. And here is the answer. Cool.